Okay, so it's the 28th of September 2020. And I don't know why I'm putting the dates on these things now, but I think that, I'm not going to be making these for a real long time. So I put the date, and I just had to find the date out by going back to the front of the mobile. The mobiles do have some purpose after all, because half the time I don't know what the date is. In fact, sometimes in a matrix, you're lucky if you know which day of the week it even is. In fact, I've noticed how that's become convoluted in recent times, because when you're under stress, you don't concentrate, and also if the matrix changes what is familiar. In other words, and when I say the matrix, even if just the earth, even if just a natural earth for that matter changed, which it isn't a natural earth, but if the natural earth even just changed your circumstances, to where you're familiar, like for instance on a Thursday in Sydney, Australia, there was always late night shopping. Of course, we have the supermarket open till midnight down here, back again now anyway, but most of the other shops close about 6. Whereas there was like late night shopping to where all the regular shops, even the little shops, would be open till 9 or something. So you knew it was Thursday night by little things like that. But if they change things due to circumstances or whatever, and you tend to rely on that, as opposed to whatever, I'm not going on here any longer. But I'm rambling too much, I'm sorry. Now look. See, I'm going to go out the door in a second, just as I usually do, just to try to show some pattern or similarity that points to a programmed matrix. In other words, that people are following a program or a system of patrolling and monitoring human beings. Is that, I don't know if I put that the right way, but that's kind of the best wording that I can find. If someone else can do better, I'd be greatly appreciative, but I don't have that kind of expertise. Now look, I was just going to say, just before I go out, because I made the point in, I think the previous video or the one before it, that, see, when I first started making these videos, right, and I got a bit of noise there, I had no idea that, like I was making the videos essentially to point out that we should slow down the use of technology before it overwhelms us and takes us over and takes over our entire reality. As you can see, I was way off track. Gradually as the months and the years went past, and when I say years, like from 3.5 years, 3 years and 9 months at the end of September, and it's the 28th today according to what I just said. 3 years and 9 months ago it started, when the matrix started to show itself to me in a negative way. If it was positive, I probably wouldn't be making the videos. That's actually probably true. But it's not like opening up the world to you and saying, hey, look, you're not just a simple human being just randomly plonked here, just with everything randomly happening, and you live and die, and you have no real control over anything, and the world itself doesn't really even have control over itself in some ways. It just changes things as it goes along. It's run by human beings only. There is no higher powers, all this sort of stuff, And I just lost my train of thought. See, the matrix sent a negative frequency then. That's to block you from concentrating. And it can even be something as simple as the dog making a noise in the background, because when you when the matrix does open up, it opens up and shows what it really is, and it's all negative. It's a negative matrix for a human being, okay? Because everything is directed at suppressing a human being. That's what I realised, and that's what it openly showed at some point. But at the same time, when I first started making the videos, I thought that it was only exposing itself to me and maybe some others that I was not aware of, and that most human beings were going to be taken over by technology. As I said before, I didn't realise at that point that it was futile me making videos about the takeover of technology when the takeover had already happened. Everything that I feared and was being put to me via the technology, because we're talking about the internet and stuff here, where I was trying to get information to find out what was going on. But everything that is given to us is behind what has happened. And if it is up to date, it is only because I'm up to date. But then it will be given by matrix, programmed disciples. And this is what I see, because I see this happening now every day, because now I see the full scope of the matrix to some extent, whereas at the beginning I thought it was worthwhile talking about the dangers of letting too much more technology into our reality. The technology is there. It's just that human beings like even using a mobile now. That is the least of the technology. And even that I don't fully understand, because there's more to that too. There's more to everything than meets the eye. But I do know that it is futile talking about stopping technology. That's why I say it's the end, because, you know, if all humans knew that the takeover or the technology completely has taken over the reality of human beings and the minds of human beings, I can't explain that. All I can say is that everything that most human beings see and think is real, and what they believe the information to be real, is all controlled by the God entity and its minions and disciples and operatives, followers, whatever you like, and even those that are in the dark are working for the God entity and those minions. Because, even like I've said in previous videos, psychopaths, just by their very nature, suppress and take human beings down. So even if they are not aware that they're possessed, or not aware that that their possession is from... Now, I could be wrong about this, because don't forget, these people fool me all the time. You know, just like the cat fools me. But I openly know that, and we have an understanding. I'm going to get back to the cat and the animals and the possession. Look, I openly say this. You know, I could easily prove possession of the animals, or at least prove it, or at least prove that animals are not the same animals. And if I could prove that animals are not the original animals, right? A bit like Sean has pointed out to me 12 months, a year and a half ago, could be more, I've lost track of time. I hadn't considered the cat greatly at this point with possession, okay, because I never interacted with the cat at that level. I was still interacting with the cat 2 years ago as though it was my original big boy cat, even though I noticed changes. But I dismissed them. Also because the Matrix has been playing me full on for the last 3 years and 9 months. So you really don't know what you're doing. You know, like, I think that if I was in a real world, I would have instantly noticed and pointed out differences in the cat very clearly. But because I'm being basically driven around the twist by a matrix over the last 3 years and 9 months. Even the cat didn't take priority like it would have in the past. Sure, I, give it the same, but you're living, when the matrix opens up, you're not concentrating only on the animals like I used to. Before the matrix come down, I concentrated, apart from my own problems, I only concentrated on a few animals, and that was it. And some people, if they were, if they're prominent or important to me, if I had to, deal with people and whatever. But either way, that's not relevant. I'm convoluting it. But Sean had, I even there again, when you're communicating with other people, sometimes you're so preoccupied with your own version of the matrix and coping with it that you want to understand someone else's hardships of the matrix. And it's like two people coming together that are sharing a matrix coming down, and because both of you have got that, you want to share it. But at the same time, you want to express your own difficulties and anger with it, but at the same time you want information from the other person as well. But it becomes to where you sometimes I think there's a saying, you become at cross purposes, so you only take in half of what the other person is saying because you're so overwhelmed with emotion and so relieved to be able to share it with someone else that it becomes like that because you have limited time. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm losing it a bit. But either way, Sean had 2 cats, I believe, if my memory serves me correct, because it's a lot easier to concentrate on the ones that I've had for about 13 years, and they're not my cats, but I look upon them that same way. And if I pointed out things, I could almost, but either way, in order to prove possession, or even to prove that animals are not the original animals, that you might have an original real animal, assuming it is an original real animal, which I assume, but, who knows, but definitely there is replacement, Now, whether this replacement is done openly or underhandedly depends on the circumstances, and depends on your how you are spiritually, I would imagine, because I think the spiritual element is the same as being intellectually at a high level for a human being. It's different for the matrix God entity in its beings, even though I don't fully understand, because they're technical. They don't have that. They might even have high intellect, some of them, but they don't have the spiritual component. So their way of looking at life is totally different. And I can't concentrate because the dog is making negative noises in the background there, which I can hear because my senses are hyped up. Human being senses are meant to be hyped up, but they're not meant to be hyped up to negative noises, negative interjections into their consciousness, shall we say, or into their reality. Whatever words you want to use. I'm trying to be fancy here because I have to keep up with it, with the demigods of the matrix with making videos. So I have to use words like consciousness and all this sort of stuff, and have to be fancy about it. But at a simple level, it's quite basic, really. It's just, I think the word annoyances, someone, when they said avoid the annoyances, ignore the annoyances. Well, yeah, it's really annoyances for a human being. But either way, Sean had a cat, and I have to go outside before it's dark. Sorry about that, but the dog is... See, I can't help the dog anyway. I can't help him up. He has to figure that out for himself because he's too big for me anyway. But either way, he never used to make noises like that. That's only over the last few weeks, The Matrix comes up with new little annoyances. Actually, if they're only little annoyances, I could cope very well with this reality. It wouldn't worry me so much. Even though I have always been a detail person, so the Matrix does know how to get you at the smallest things and the biggest things. Now, I'm just going to try to be a bit coherent here if I can, because I am losing it, as you know. I do lose it with the videos, and the Matrix then has a good laugh. Sean had a cat called, I'm not sure if Derica, and that is a very good name, I like that, Derica, and Neko, I think it was, if they were the original cats or if they were a combination of the replaced cats. That this is a similar thing, you see, where someone has an animal and they know that it's been taken and been replaced. In Sean's case, he said that the animal was killed to where he saw it, whereas this has not been my experience. No, I have had animals that have been killed, yes, but they've not been the big boy. No. He was replaced underhandedly. When I say underhandedly, without my knowledge and without any awareness of replacement. And that just shows a matrix. If I can show that at a physical level, that proves a matrix in some way, or at least to where you have even organisations that you would trust around you, shall we say. Like, for instance, like if an animal got sick and you took it to the hospital and the hospital swapped things over, like how sometimes in movies you'll hear of babies being swapped at birth, that sort of thing. Well, it's not at birth, but it's that similar fantasy scenario that we all think is not possible for it to be deliberate, but we might occasionally think there could be an accidental swap or an accidental thing going on, but there's nothing accidental in a matrix. If you believe in a matrix and you know a matrix to be so, which I do, in other words, a controlled, set up, systematic program of events in every human's life, that there is no random accidentalness in any way. That's a matrix is a technological control system. If it wasn't technological, it would just be human beings controlling or beings controlling human beings. But, it is technological now because it's the end of things, and because once you see it on the computer, for instance, you see the takeover, which I see on the computer. Now that I use the computer, I don't actually have one, by the way, but I can get the YouTube. But that's still the computer, but I just don't have a computer. Otherwise, I could go live like I used to before they brought in circumstances that stopped certain people from going live. I liked going live, not for myself, it makes no difference to me, but and I think this is why they stopped the live, was because they didn't want those of you that listen to be communicating, because I don't communicate that much with the people that listen. I just ramble on, as you know. But maybe behind the scenes, if there are a group of people listening, they can communicate better and with one another about all their problems and their issues, and the matrix even better than me. And this, I think, is why it was closed down, but only closed down for certain people, because it was closed down only for mobiles too. Because I only use a mobile. I don't have a computer. I don't have an up and running computer. I have one stashed under the thing there that could be up and running if I could get some help. Just as I have a camcorder that was that was got, which even has the card in, but I can't get it going because you need a computer and I need someone that knows how to do these things. I can use things very well once someone else does it for me, because I don't have any technical knowledge and I just don't have that know-how. Just as I can use the mobile now that it was up and running. But I have to get on the good side of the matrix people, and for them to think that something is not going to be used that shows the matrix too much. See, but now that they're up on all that, and, you know, either way I'm going on, but if you get what I'm saying. But either way, you know, the reason that they closed down people going live on a mobile, only on a mobile, and only if you were, if you had a certain amount of subscribers. That was the conditions, I think. If you had more than 1,000 subscribers, you could do what you liked. You can use a mobile and go live. But if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, like myself, way less, in fact. In fact, it was even less than that when they did this. I think it was half of what I have now even. And as you know, even with subscribers, you don't get them all watching. You only get a small handful out of subscribers. I know that myself, you know. You might subscribe to something, but you don't watch every video of someone. You haven't got the time and it becomes too monotonous. Now, but yeah. So all I can say about that is, maybe, this just occurred to me quite recently, maybe an indication of who is who or what might be, because the Matrix shows you things. The Matrix shows you what the real reality is. It's just that we don't notice it. I just try to take very strong notice now because I'm aware of that, like synchronicity, okay? Everything has to be presented to human beings. Otherwise, they are not allowed to keep it going, I don't think. I've said this way, way, way back. But just that we don't believe in synchronicity. In other words, we don't believe that everything is shown to us in the reality because we don't think we're that important. But the reality revolves around real humans because they are the centre of the reality. That's the reason the God entity's matrix is allowed to keep going. I think. You know, because the God entity and its minions are allowed to play with humans and even trick them, provided they also show them elements of truth. And they're like, then look, we are in the clear because we did show them elements of truth, but because they're not spiritual and they're naughty, they ignored it and they didn't believe it. And, you know, they went with negative things that maybe they shouldn't. But I think, but it is a very strong game. So, see, human beings probably should know that technology is a negative. But if they think that technology is given to them for their benefit and they become so limited that they use things and think they are a benefit, you know, it is a kind of trick game. But, you know, I guess we're not supposed to fall for it, but we all do and we all have. So, and that's because it's the end time, and so it's desperation on all. But either way, I've lost the track there. I was going on about Derica and Neko. I think it was Neko. I always go through the letters of the alphabet to try to find what is the correct name. Sometimes any rate. But I don't know why I'm going on about that. I'm just trying to make a connection here. Okay. But that made me aware to really look at the big boy cat. Because, yes, I had noticed many anomalies, many changes and differences from when he was younger. Also, you know how I call him Big Boy Cat? The cat that comes in here now is big. But Big Boy Cat was bigger than that cat. He was the biggest cat on the street. He wasn't fat. but he was big. And he wasn't as fluffy and as cute as this one. He was more magnificent, really, in every way. But this cat is still very much like him, and like I say, like a very pleasant offspring. But Big Boy Cat, I took him for granted. In fact, I mostly used to see him of a night time. He used to come up because cats are nocturnal after dark. So I was often surprised when I saw him in broad daylight occasionally to see his big blue eyes and how perfectly marked he was. And, because I didn't actually see him as a beautiful big cat, even though he was, because other people pointed that out to me. I just saw him as my friend, because I've never been really that much worried about cats being... I like cats, and I tend to like the more basic tabby cats anyway, which means your average cats, not your more exotic breeds and your more expensive, like your Persians and things, all that. They've never really appealed to me as much as just your basic cats. But Big Boy actually was like a regular cat, but you could see that he was special, that his whole, like the big blue eyes and stuff. Most cats don't have big blue eyes, and but he was perfectly marked. This cat, the Big Boy that's here now, is not perfectly marked, and I can point that out, but I need photos to prove what the original Big Boy cat looked like, and I've got photos there. They only go back 6 years, so I'm assuming that that the switcheroo, shall we say, took place, about 5 years ago, maybe something like that. My times are not exact, but I know that the photos don't go anywhere past 6 years. So if it was done before 6 years, I cannot show nothing. But I can't get those photos up. But I know that the photos of the Big Boy that are in those pictures are still different to the one that was here. So figure that one out. I'd like to figure it out, and I will figure it out. I will get to the bottom of it. I think I have, but I'm making videos, so I can't just talk every fantasy that comes into my head. I have to have some backup. If I'm going to, because the videos now, as opposed to me talking about the fantasy element of the Matrix and the possibilities, I'm going to try to fit it into some form of reality to where at least there is some evidence of a Matrix. It may not be enough for a lot of people, but at least some. Because otherwise, otherwise I'm just one of your philosophers of the Matrix. And really, I don't even want to be associated with those disciples of the Matrix. They are brilliant. They have so much more information. They can use words and everything that I do, they can use and make it better. And they don't bumble around like the real humans. But like I say, maybe an indication is 1,000 subscribers or more. Anything under that, maybe, just maybe, you are getting into the little old humans that are left. Could be wrong. But I say the Matrix does show you things, and that just occurred to me because if you are streaming live on a mobile, you have to have 1,000 or more subscribers in order to do it. I could be going live right now if I had 1,000 or more subscribers. So maybe that's the cutoff point, because the Matrix is very clever. It knows the numbers. It knows where people are. And I remember joking at the time when they did this. I said, oh, look, I have to live to 1,000 before I get 1,000 subscribers, so I think I won't be going live on the mobile again, which is true. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Just thought I'd make that point. If you think there's some validity to it, fair enough. If you think that it isn't, that's fair enough too. But I believe in synchronicity, and I prove these things to myself, but proving them to another person or to one that's, say, still semi in the dark is difficult. I could show some very simple versions of synchronicity just in this very kitchen before I go out, but it's getting very close to dark. Maybe Putty will show you when I do another cat video. But look, no, I'm going to show you because it may not be here. And you're going to laugh. So have a laugh. Take it as a comedy skit if you want to, like The Matrix does. Because believe you me, The Matrix and its God entity laughs very loud at me. But at any rate, I'm going to turn the phone around and just show you the simplest, most minute detail, silly antics of the Matrix, of how petty but also how finely tuned the Matrix is, and you will laugh. But look at this. I'll just show you anyway, and you can laugh at me if you like. This is in my kitchen. So these are just items, as you know, that I have piled up around in the kitchen, food items that I buy. Okay, now look here. Can you see that? That is a Bundaberg soft drink. It doesn't matter what flavour it is. It is quite delicious, though, I'll tell you that. Bundaberg is in a glass bottle. It's been around for a long time, but they have many varieties. I often buy the Bundaberg drinks, provided they're on special, because I like them. When I go down to the Select to get a coffee, to get $1 coffee, okay, they have raw sugar there. Sweeteners, sugar, free to put in your coffee. It's a coffee machine. 7-Eleven, okay? When I go down to 7-Eleven, because we have a 7-Eleven and a Select around here, but they're both the same thing. They have the dollar coffee machines. Now, up until quite recently, they have had the raw sugar there. And it doesn't have a brand on, but it's raw sugar. Just the other day, I went there and they have changed the raw sugar, all the packets of it. See, I brought one back to show you. Here it is. Can you see it? What does it say on that? I'm getting angry here. Sorry, losing my temper. I don't know why. No reason to. That's why we're defeated in this matrix, humans, to lose our temper over something as silly as that. But see how I'm trying to turn it round, but it says Bundaberg raw sugar on that. Can you see it? Bundaberg raw sugar, Bundaberg drink that I drink all the time. Am I making some sort of point here? This shows you the pettiness of the matrix God entity and its minions. And we've pointed out the pettiness of narcissistic psychopaths because they reflect the mindset of the God entity. So they like to take things from humans even at pathetical little levels. Now, something like that even I normally would let slip by and wouldn't notice. But because I get the coffee quite a lot, and then I just happened to bring it back and put it there, and I noticed. I thought, that's right, I always drink that. They like just the name, the Bundaberg, that I as a human drink the Bundaberg drink, and now they've changed the sugar brand to Bundaberg sugar, Bundaberg raw sugar. Do you see what I'm saying? Also, I'm just going to look around the kitchen here before I go out and make some stupid points and you can have a laugh, okay? I also like lime and lemon and lime flavourings and things. Now, I just the other day bought this, it's up there on the thing there, okay? I'll show it to you because it's just in front of me here. And I only noticed it a few days ago, but I bought it a few days ago because it was on special in the supermarket, and it is a lime body wash, okay, that you wash with. So I bought it, and it's lime. I only bought it because it was lime. I didn't look at anything else. I just looked at, because they had a few flavours in it, right, or a few aromas or whatever you like. Now they go in for even the aromas. They've changed to flavours and aromas that humans like. Or particularly around here. Maybe they do it more around here because I'm probably, there's less humans probably around Leichhardt. So maybe they take a lot more of mine into the supermarket, whereas in other places, in other countries, it will be something else. You know what I mean? That's possible too, and I think that would be so. But either way, I bought this Lime body wash, and look what it says. Just look. I don't know if it's coming out because I got the phone around the wrong way. See, I have got it round to where you can see me, but I can't see what I'm filming. So I only hope I've got in, because you know how I muddled up that Communities and Justice letter where it didn't come out. I'll have a look at it myself. I just don't want to even make a point about these things, but these are things that I notice. Actually, now that I think of it, I just didn't notice this, but just noticed it this very minute. See, this is synchronicity coming into full being, or something like that, or in other words, me seeing synchronicity where I don't even see it most of the time. This is also a drink that I buy a lot. See the can? Can you read it? It says Solo. That's the Solo. I don't know whether you get those overseas. The Solo Original Lemon, it says. Solo Original Lemon. You know, that's a drink that's been around quite a long time in Sydney, and quite popular. And I've often bought it. So it's Solo, which means singular, Original Lemon. Original lemon. Like that. Lime. I'm wasting time here. I'm making a fool of myself. But look, I could do this with everything, because this is when you wake up to things or become aware of the synchronicity, which means your awareness of your connection to everything that is around you, because it's a matrix. The matrix shows you everything. See, even things that I've just randomly bought there have significance to me and are related to me. But in the past, I wouldn't have noticed that. In fact, I probably wouldn't have even read all the print. I just bought that because it was lime. Just like I've been drinking the Solo Original Lemon drink for years. And we saw the Bundaberg thing, but the Matrix gets very funny. If they think something's a good name and you buy it, they'll use it on something else. So now we have the Bundaberg drink, but we also have Bundaberg raw sugar. Does that make any sense, or am I sounding absolutely ridiculous? I better go outside. I'm sure that even those that believe in a matrix are probably starting to think that I'm not making any sense. But that is the reality. Synchronicity just means, and because the God entity is detail-minded and petty, that's the word I would use, petty, because a lot of it doesn't matter. But they seduce humans with human things. And they, because see, those little details humans notice, and they use that to sell things and to keep the reality, I think, appear to be kind of, it just keeps it more interesting and more human, so that people don't notice that it's really an anti-life matrix. I've said this before. You know, even if the products you buy, you relate to them and you are tickled pink by them, as I am, because I'm tickled pink by the little details and things. And when I'm tickled pink by it, the Matrix says that's human being tickled pink, so we shall put more of that out there. It's like that, I think. Okay, I'm going outside. It's nearly dark. I've been rambling here. And, opening the door, coming out. Try to keep the phone focused. Yes, it's nearly going dark. The sun is hitting the church over there. It's quite pretty when it hits the church. If I wasn't in a matrix, I could enjoy it. There we have a Hearing Australia van stuck outside, as you can see. See, it says Hearing Australia. They're making fun of the noise with me again too, I suppose. Probably. I shall push this door open. Come back in for a second. See, they're already making fun of me with the hearing. See, that's the nature of the Matrix. You know, it likes to make fun of you. And I can't show you this, but the door on the house opposite just opened and closed. But I'm too slow. Oh, I'm doing the one-eyed stuff. I'm so sorry. But yeah, we have so we have a mobile hearing van. Now, where does that belong? That doesn't even belong on the street. So what is it doing here? That is just... See, these sorts of things should not be in a small side street. See that van there? See, it says pop in, pop up. Notice how I've said pop up. It's a pop-up reality. Well, this is pop in for a hearing check today. You know, like, in what reality do you have a mobile pop-up hearing van? Well, in this one. And of course, Matrix people will say, isn't that wonderful that we have all these pop-up things? Because we have to have them now, you see, because we're living in such a ridiculous reality. So it's an excuse to bring in more stuff too. I don't even know what I'm talking about here, but actually it is cold. And look, I'm just going to hold the mobile here without looking too much because... See, there we have, as usual, the car, and a grey car too. See how they're bringing in the grey cars because I like the grey colour? That's just their little sense of humour. See how we have a girl getting out and the car pulling in, and she's going to make a little display because she's an attractive girl, so she's probably actually pleased to be in the video. But she's not sure about whether she should be in it, or maybe she's not so keen to be in the video. Yeah, she was like, not so keen. Because these people are Matrix people and they know that they are just coming and pulling in as part of a program. And see how they are now wandering off down the street. So who parks down a street that they don't live on and just goes wandering down? But that is the grey colour that I have been focusing on. Remember how I mentioned the grey? Because I saw a grey car just down the end of the road about a week ago. And I hadn't seen that dark grey colour in a car, and I thought that looks rather all right. So now we're getting a few more grey cars in. This is the Matrix. I know this sounds ridiculous, but that's how a Matrix operates. Oh, we've got a grey car opposite. See there? See the dark kind of grey? And we've got one next to the thing. See how we've got grey car, grey car, grey car. And you're thinking I'm being ridiculous. But those grey cars, grey was not a prominent colour on most of the cars around. You know, it's becoming... I noticed it yesterday after I mentioned it. I'm looking at the road, and I'm just looking at the road for, say, 10 minutes. You know, where it's a busy road, where you can see, thousands of cars going past. So you're getting a pretty good, pretty good, I can't think of the thing, but a pretty good idea of how many cars and what the colours are. Now we're getting a light coming off the back of that car. See, that's light reflection, people would say. I say in a matrix, there is no real natural light reflection. You know, you might say, oh, that is a reflection, and that is another point too. Someone said reflection. See how it's reflecting off the church? But that's just normal because that is the sun going off the church. But that was just the random neighbour coming up. She's been actually in 3 of my videos, even though I haven't mentioned it, because she'd come past on the bike and she'd come up in the car. But I don't think I put her. I assume I haven't put her actual face. I don't think that I have, but that's interesting. See, that's what I'm saying. There's always the random neighbour that comes up. These people are very programmed that way. I'm actually freezing out here. It's supposed to be warmer, but I'm cold. I don't think I can stay out here. The sky is clear. Look, the sky is clear. The sun is bouncing off. No, there is no natural light reflection in a matrix. No natural light reflection. It just looks natural. And the matrix offers up a plausible reason to show that its artificial reality is really natural. I buy it too, but I don't now because I notice when there is too much light reflection. This is I saw this a long time ago and I've mentioned it before. I saw this as, see, even now that's distracting me, those little lights. They're only small lights, but on a good day, you will see a lot of light reflection. But it's quite intense. It's quite bright, even though you'd say it's natural, particularly if the sun's out. But it is not really natural. It just looks that way. It's a reflection of the God entity in a funny kind of way, because it's not our reality, and it's not natural, and it's not random. So I don't think we're going to get any planes. This is quite disappointing. I think the Matrix has me. Maybe I shouldn't even put this, I might not even put this video out. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll just wait. So we have the van. See, if I go down the corner, the matrix will open up a lot more. That's why it's just waiting for me to go down the corner and close, because I only come out once a day with the mobile out here, just outside my house. I don't take it around, and I don't use it for any other purpose. Apart from buying a few things on the eBay now and again, because I don't have the computer up and running, as I point out. See, we've got no planes, none at all. That's strange. There were a few before when I was inside, but they're laying low. They normally do like to come, but no, we have got a very quiet matrix here. But the minute I turn the mobile off, it will come more lively, because it can only stay quiet for a little while. In fact, if I wasn't so cold here, if I was actually comfortable, they wouldn't be able to resist, because I might relax and actually have a slight frequency rise, if you want to look at it that way, even for a very limited time. But I'm actually so cold that I'm uncomfortable anyway, so they don't actually need to do too much. I thought it was supposed to warm up today, actually, but it's not. I'll see if I can see the sun going down anyway. That might be something to diverge. Let me have a look. Where is the sun? I'm coming out onto the street. I'm actually nervous, but you see, I've got confidence because I don't feel alone, because I think there's someone on the end of the video. Now, let me see. I've got to watch though the house. Oh, look at that. Is that all right? Up the side, up my side here, look, the sun is going down. Is that worth looking at? I better be careful in case a car pulls up and tries to knock me over up the side, because they normally come up the side. Sorry, what's that noise? It's noise. Noise. Probably not coming out on the mobile. Someone is making technological noise with a machinery of some sort. Probably a cleaning device, but that's what would be the excuse or reason. But it's coming from down here. But I'm just filming the sun there. I don't know if it's coming out. Is it good or not? I didn't actually notice that we have a sign here on the side of the place. They've just put it up. I don't think I'll even bother reading that, but I shall leave that. That looks all right, I think. I'd like to go down, but they're making so much noise down there. See, it's their matrix too. See, that's what I'm saying. Are the neighbours just a coincidence or not? Now let me see. Can I get that in? That is interesting. I'm just going to ignore all that racket going on. I'm not going to go further down there. But since when? Oh, the car, of course, is pulled up in front, as you can see, getting out. But, you know, bang, bang. But I'll just come back in here because I'm a bit stressed. But, yeah, the usual car's just pulled in just as soon as I come up. You know, that's just... But either way, you know, since when you're doing just a little bit of cleaning inside your house, say with a vacuum cleaner or whatever it is they're using, should you be able to hear it like, you know, when people are right outside the place, because them places are down the back there. But, you know, that's because everything Matrix people do is loud, unnecessarily loud. You know, it's always some sort of mechanical, technological noise. That's actually minor in comparison with stuff that goes on in the street, because it's not overly disturbing. But because I'm a human being, and this has been continually going on, whether it be lesser noises, there's always some racket or some noise going on somewhere. You know, over a period of 3 years and 9 months now, at the end of September, 3 years and 9 months, almost exactly. You know, so that sun was actually quite interesting. See, they don't like me going down there and even filming the sun, even though that's my side as much as theirs. In fact, if I had a car, I could park it in the back there because everyone has a car place. Even though they used to always park here, but as you can see, they don't now. That's because they've got to allow for all these random Matrix cars to come on the street. But they are playing possum today. But the Hearing Australia, there, you know, maybe they're just always, you know, mocking me with the noise escalation that's been on over the last year and a half. You know, they're anti-life people and they're anti-human, every single one of them. Because if you are part of a matrix that suppresses even your own kind, particularly if you're suppressing the last humans that actually may be a benefit. Notice how the birds twerk, because, as I've said before, not every human being that is left, we will all have some of our abilities suppressed. You know, we'd be more controlled by the matrix, all this sort of stuff. So any that have any, here comes a car in. Here we have the usual car pulling in to the usual spot. And I think we have our masked warrior there. You know, we have our masked warrior there, but either way, I'm just going to show you my garden because I'm feeling self-conscious here again now. Let me see, there's the plastic flower there. And that. And our usual sauce. And I'm just gonna, that actually is an artificial flour, plastic flour, but it looks pretty good, that one, I think. And I'm actually, I can't help it, I'm coming in. I actually got frightened, to be honest. I have to say that, because I just can't, when people are getting out of their cars in front of me and I'm filming, and they almost openly acknowledging it, it does become a bit difficult. I mean, I know that it is, I still have to live here. This is the whole thing. So, yeah, so, in making videos where you're showing a matrix around, that's why I would prefer to get the camcorder up and running if I can, but I can't get it going, because then I could go, when I've got a bit of energy, I will, or even possibly, even if I have to go and pick up some groceries, I could maybe just film a little bit just down the main street. When I say the main street, where there's a bit more activity and you can show a matrix a little bit, or show other aspects of a matrix, aspects of the synchronicity, as opposed to where you've got the local neighbours to where they all see you doing it, and because they are actually watching. See, if they were actually random people minding their own business, they wouldn't care if you were out there with a mobile, as they all are. Matrix plane. I have missed my matrix plane. I shall go out to get the matrix plane. It might be alright, or it might be a bomby one, I don't know. Is it a bomby one? Or is it where is it? Don't know where it is. Where did it go? I missed it. It obviously didn't come over, because I can't see it. The matrix is playing funny ones. Oh, there's the car down there with its door open. See the white car just there? So we have this car pulling in and that one there pulling in just down there with the door wide open. They like to leave the side doors open to emphasise that they have pulled in. I don't know if that's coming out on the mobile. And I can still hear the noise of that cleaning thing, even though it's way down the back there, because like I say, he's just randomly getting into that car, so I'll just move away. I'm just, I'm trying to film these things, but I'm getting a little bit apprehensive, shall we say. But that's actually a different person getting into the car to the ones that pulled in. They only pulled in like 5 minutes ago, and now they're different people getting out. Not to worry, they're actually just fiddling around and coming back in and out. That's just matrix antics, and I'm supposed to be showing it, but I actually don't have enough, I'm just losing a little bit of confidence here, I have to admit. And I shouldn't have come out for that matrix plane. Why are there no matrix planes? Do they, someone's just come out opposite, I don't know, but I'm not going to film them unless they drive out, which they might. But I'm not, because they've just come out opposite. See how I say how every house around, and actually he's going to drive out, and I will show him driving out opposite. So we had one car pulling opposite, now we have this car coming in, and look, it's the grey colour. See the grey colour? Look at the grey colour, people. That's my grey colour, the dark grey colour that I haven't seen. Look, and it's pulling right in front. Matrix or not, right in front. And he's going to pull out there. This is pulling in front. They have difficulty parking, matrix people, because they do like to emphasise their arrival. And they've got a little TV camera inside that car. It's not going to come out on the video. I can see it because it's only about 20 feet away from me. You know. And there we have the Matrix one with the door open there, as you can see. See how they like to lurk in the car and leave the door open? This is Matrix. I shall just... I'm just going to just check the letterbox while I'm here. Number 3. Ooh, no mail there, I don't think. It's very cold. Now, I just want to make this point, right? See, those are the people opposite. She got out that car and went in opposite, and she did give me a little smile, and the fella that lives in there is lurking, as you can see, with the door open on that car that he often has. Now, this is a new car. This is a new grey car for this house over there. They've got about 3 or 4 cars, well, I can see. So the Matrix must just be giving people cars to pull in with the grey colour, because this car has not belonged in this house opposite. This is a new grey car, and that lady walked into that house there. She lives there. I don't know it, but obviously they know me. I've lived here for nearly 30 years, so they, usually I don't even come in contact with most of these people, even within, say, 10 or 20 feet, so I rarely actually even say hello, even though they're just opposite. But these grey cars, did you see that light flicker there? Oh, I think I missed that. The light flickered on the side of the grey car. That's automatic. There's no one in it. She's gone in. What does that say? No, this is a new grey car. The dark grey. That's, I'm saying hello anyway. Even he said hello. That's interesting. Well, I have spoke to him once or twice over the years. Not a great deal, I have to admit, considering that I've lived here for so long and they've lived here all this time in that house opposite. Most of the other houses have changed round, and I don't know any of them really. But he's taken a long time to pull out. Maybe he's not going to pull out, but it doesn't matter. But I think I better go in. But am I proving anything here today? Look, that is a grey car. That does not belong in that house, but she's got it now new today. And I've only been focused on the dark grey car for the last week. Okay? And you can see that they're coming onto the street thick and fast, the grey cars. And I rarely saw this dark grey car colour. I only noticed it about 2 weeks ago when I went down to the corner there, when I saw this kind of matte dark grey car, and I thought it looked all right. There we have the non-Matrix person going down the road, but he belongs in the house, and here we have them going out as usual up the side. And I'm not holding the mobile very securely because I'm nervous. I could film this much better if I didn't know that people were aware and, that it's this Matrix. I would just film it, and they probably wouldn't care. They just think, so I'm sorry. Because I intended to make these videos. Here comes another car. Where will it go? Bit squeaky too. Squeaky brakes on that one as it goes past for a new car. Those squeaky brakes are Matrix antics, shall we say. that's like drawing attention to the car. Let me see. Maybe they don't care. And now we have another lady coming opposite, but I'm not going to put her on film. I'm not going to do that. And this car is just going to pull in where? Is it going to pull in my view, or is it just going to be behind that blue truck? But they're all coming out onto the street. They're walking up and down from that same house. See? Can you see all this activity that is now going on? So the people in the house are now getting into the car opposite. So that shows that they actually have about 4 or 5 cars in the house opposite, because 2 people have just got into the house opposite from that house where this car is here, and they're going to pull out. You'll see them pull out behind the grey car, which also belongs in that house, because you saw the woman go in there from that grey car into that house. So here we go, she's pulling out right now. Pulling out. So that is just showing that they are the Matrix. And that is, to me, that is obvious. And we have the lady going into the house just opposite there too. See how they are all... In fact, she was probably in that car that pulled up down there, but I'm not sure. I didn't look, to be honest. But either way, she's going in. But this is just Matrix people. So we have 4 cars from the place opposite that have now pulled in and out. And we have the fella here coming to this car here that's outside. These are all part of... these are very Matrix, because these people don't even live in the place. But either way, we just have them now pulling out. And he will pull in opposite there, next to that car there, to show that they are a collaborative effort. Okay, so there we go. And we have the birds and the trees. There we say ta-ta to another Matrix one. He was down my side, and we saw the car come in down the side too. So just in the space of time that I've come out here, even though the Matrix is relatively quiet in a funny kind of way, is that normal activity on a street? Just in the space of a short time when I come out, or is it a Matrix? Is it where people are... Gee, he's an awful long time in that car with the 2 doors open there. Normally he puts all the lights on too. Actually, you soon will when it's dark, but I'm getting cold here, so I may not bother. And... no, he's actually not going to pull out, I don't think. So I'm going to go in. I've had it, actually. I'm getting a bit funny. And I think I'm doing a lot of... See, I should be holding this video, relax, making a good video. They want me to make a shonky video, one where I'm all over it. Because if you make these videos, I've seen other people that do these sort of videos, right, to where the camera is just going all over the place. It just doesn't... it doesn't merit consideration when you do that. But it's impossible with a mobile, and then you're aware that it's a Matrix. He's still going to, still going to... See how I said how they lurk? With doors open, always bending over in their cars. This was pointed out to me, and I've observed this myself for quite a long time. I'm going in. No doubt a plane will come. I'll stand in here just inside the door, because standing out there just is actually stressing me a little bit. I know I shouldn't be, but also I'm trying to talk. So there again, I don't want to talk too loud. Matrix people talk very loud. You can hear Matrix people and Matrix vehicles through a block. That's a Matrix motorbike. I don't know if it come out, but But that's something that you didn't get much in the old Earth or the old world before the Matrix came down, as I say, because you didn't get motorbikes revving up their engines going past. It's almost as though the world has become a little bit more hostile that way, and certainly that's a human interpretation of it. So it's a bit more threatening in a way. It's not peaceful. Whereas before, even if you have motorbikes, and actually we didn't have very many anyway, that's another point. I noticed the motorbike escalation of the number of motorbikes very soon. Because you notice, if you see on the road where you rarely see, he's not actually going to even go, he's going in the house. He's not actually going to drive that car away, but he fiddled there for all that time. But either way, you saw activity, Matrix activity opposite once again. In fact, you saw 3 cars, I think, from that one place opposite, during the time that I'm making this small video. Now, and 2, 3 up the side, the usual 1 or 2 just a couple of doors down. I don't know if they come out on the video. The ones further down I can see very clearly with my naked eyes, I say, but the video may or may not. But this grey car situation is definitely, what does it prove, this grey car thing? If a human notices a particular colour, the Matrix jumps onto it and produces more of it. Because I've never really been big on noticing the car colours greatly until quite recently. In fact, naturally, if there's more people, on the street with more cars, you notice the car colour. We have a fella walking down on the side of the road, and he actually looked at me, but he's wearing big headphones, making fun of the headphone incident. I don't know whether you can see him, he's just walked there, but he's too far away, but he's just on the other side of the road. I can see him very clearly with big white headphones stuck over his ears, and we've got the hearing van there next, the blue one pulled right up in front. That hearing van does not belong in any of these houses. How could it? There's the car going up. I don't know where that car even come from. It's just pulling up. But either way, I'm not proving anything there. But it's nearly dark. Why have we got not one plane? That's interesting. Do they have no planes on a Monday? Now in the Matrix? At this time? And I'm folding up because I'm folding up. It is nearly dark, and I would like to see what happens after dark, but I can't stay here much longer. Very... Oh, there we go. Car pulling right in front, okay? There we have it again. They were the ones that went out, and now they have pulled right back in front. They didn't go away for very long, did they? No, because that was just Matrix stage scenarios, if you like. See, they are the same people that live opposite. So you've seen the antics of people opposite in the short space of time. See, they will get in and go into their house. I'm not sure that I have ever seen those two. And I could mention other things too, but I'm not going to. The black and white top that she's wearing, I have a similar black and white top in here. I don't wear it out on the street, but I do sometimes wear it around the house. It's very old and rubbish, but she's got a similar one on. Can't prove that, and I'm not interested to prove it. But this is just the Matrix playing with the mind of a human being. As you can see, they play with me completely. That is just playing you. because they know that you notice. And if you mention these things to other people, you just look stupid and foolish, and or as though you picking on things that are inconsequential and that you're almost out of touch. And that's what it looks like. But you know it because because you see it often. You don't just see this. If I only saw this once a year, I would say this is a real natural world. Everything is random, and there is no matrix. There's no everything is just a coincidence occasionally, and that would be perfectly fair to say that. But if you see things happening, like I say, if you can pick a pattern and where it's continual, on a daily basis, then randomness and accidentalness and coincidences should fly out the window. If you are not a matrix-controlled person or operating in conjunction with a collaborative matrix effort or a community of matrix players and actors that for whatever reason, whether it be for some sort of profit or some sort of belief system, I do not know what each individual's motives and reasons for their, I don't know their reasons why they are part of this collaborative type of community, which is really a city or even a country-based and even a worldwide-based thing. But it could be local, but many communities make up a city. So then it becomes a city thing and a country thing and a worldwide thing. But for all I know, the people around here might just be part of a particular community, okay? So they don't know that they know they're part of a collaborative matrix effort or a matrix community effort, suppressing certain human beings, but they might not be aware that they are part of a country effort or a worldwide thing. They may not, or they may know. I don't know this. It depends on how up on things they are, how, what their status in this world is, I would imagine, or what they really are, how much privy to information they're really allowed, depending on how much they could be trusted. Because, it's not just human beings that are played in the Matrix. It's quite possible that even some of the Matrix players themselves are played. I could be wrong about that. Some of them could be. Certainly some psychopaths probably are. But I don't know that because they're such good actors, you can't tell. There's the car going down fairly fast there for some reason, but I had better fold up because it's nearly getting dark now. As you can see, it's dark, getting dark. And I'm expecting too much for people to watch such a long video when there's very little happening, and I'm not actually exactly talking words of wisdom, shall we say, But I feel like a fool, in a way, or somehow wrong, talking about things that in the past would have been way over my head. And, there's someone going in the house down there. You can hear the noise. They just went down in the car, I think. But, actually, that's next door. I can hear the door banging. They just come and go all over the place around me, I can't keep track of it all, to be honest. But it's disturbing. It does make you feel a little bit boxed in, shall we say. And I think the dog has done his business on the floor. I can smell something, so I better get going, unfortunately. See, if it's not one thing, it's another. And my hand is starting to hurt with the mobile, so nothing else happening. But this is just your random little Henry Street, Leichhardt, Matrix Street of Sydney, which is in the country of Australia. And this is a controlled artificial world. taken over by technology, and even humans that use technology, whatever you like. I'm getting convoluted here. Because when you talk about possession, you don't know what possesses the body, a human body, just as you don't know what possesses the animal body, you know. But you do know that it's something that is not meant to be in that body, and you do know that it is anti-life if you are a real human left, I would imagine. Because that is how the Matrix has got it. Matrix has got all on side that way. Even though many humans, some humans might say, I don't care about, what beings are, in this earth or matrix. But, that's really not, that doesn't really matter to the matrix God entity and its disciples, I wouldn't think. Not if you go on observation and what's happening. And I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm not even thinking, or I'm almost not thinking. And that's not good. I like to think and know what I'm saying. So I better fold up before I make myself look stupid. Because it's very hard when you're filming and looking at a street to concentrate on what you're saying. And as not much is happening now, I better go anyway. I've been far too long. So I will fold this up. Sorry about that. As soon as I fold it up, a car will come on the street. That is a fact. But, you can't film all the time. And, all I had hoped to show was activity always when you go outside the door. See, if I keep it just outside my door, my house, as opposed to even further away, even like, don't take this mobile further away, so I can't show that anyway. But I would not be able to show the matrix as clearly, but I could show anomalies, and I could show synchronicity, a lot of synchronicity. In other words, how a billboard talks to you, for instance. Well, they're meant to talk to you anyway. Billboards are meant to seduce you or get you to buy something or give you some sort of information. But I'm saying there's two ways of looking at and reading the billboards. Once you are aware of that and you see it as a personal message as opposed to just an advertisement to you and to everyone. All advertisements are really only for, real human beings. They could be for Matrix people too. Maybe they are. Maybe they're for Matrix people. Well, maybe they serve a double purpose. I don't know. Maybe they want me to buy all the stuff as a non-Matrix person, but the Matrix people to buy the same stuff, but also showing the real human the reality that they're in a synchronistic controlled matrix where everything is reflected back to a human being and has to be, otherwise the matrix would not continue, because there is a spiritual aspect to this kind of realm, if you want to look at it that way. To this reality. I've got to fold up.